The world's most important oil highway is all of a sudden under threat, and the shockwaves could reach every single country on the planet. Welcome to TimesXP, and a dramatic claim has emerged from Iran. The powerful military wing known as the IRGC says that its naval forces have attacked several oil tankers connected to the US and its allies near one of the most sensitive waterways on the planet Earth, the Strait of Hormuz. Now let's pause here for a moment and understand why this location matters so much. Well, the Strait of Hormuz is not just another sea route, right? It is the narrow gateway through which nearly one-fifth of the world's oil supply travels every single day. Tankers carrying crude oil from the Gulf nations passes through this teeny corridor before heading to Asia, Europe and beyond. So basically, if this route is disrupted, fuel prices could surge worldwide within days. And now, according to Iranian sources, missiles and explosive drone boats, they were used in the latest attack. One tanker reportedly hit during the incident was MKD Vyom, sailing under the flag of the Marshall Islands. Well, the vessel allegedly caught fire after being stuck, triggering a lot of panic on board. Reports say that at least one crew member died and several others were injured as flames spread across parts of the ship. Another commercial tanker, the Skylight, it was reportedly targeted in the waters near Oman. Well, the crew of that vessel was forced to abandon the sections of the ship as emergency alerts spread across nearby maritime routes. But the attacks themselves are only part of the story. Iran has now issued a much bigger warning. Officials say that the Strait of Hormuz is effectively closed to vessels connected to the US, Israel, and several Western nations. In other words, Tehran is threatening to strike ships that attempt to move through this particular passage if they are linked to those nations. Now, technically, if we see, then the waterway is not really blocked with mines or physical barriers. Tankers can still attempt to pass, but the danger is the risk of the attack. And that risk alone is already scaring shipping companies. Early maritime tracking data suggests that commercial traffic through this Strait of Hormuz, it has dropped sharply, with some reports indicating that if vessel movements, it has fallen by as much as 70 to 80% since tensions escalated. Insurance companies are raising the premiums, shipping firms are reconsidering the routes, and energy markets are watching every single development very closely. And this matters to the rest of the world. Why? Because countries like India, countries like China, Japan, and many other countries also, they are going to face the ripple effects. European nations depend heavily on oil shipments passing through this very corridor. If tankers stop moving, global supply tightens, and that often means higher fuel prices, rising transport costs, and pressure on the global economy. Well, for the US, the situation carries both economic and military implications. The United States Navy, well, it has significant presence in that particular region, precisely to protect shipping lanes and prevent disruptions like this. In fact, in the past crisis also, US warships have escorted commercial vessels through the strait just to deter the attack. But every new strike increases the risk of direct military confrontation. Well, if more tankers are hit, if naval forces clash, if the waterway becomes truly blocked, well, the Strait of Hormuz could turn from shipping route into a global flashpoint. And that raises a chilling question. Ladies and gentlemen, is this just another warning shot in the long Iran-Israel-U.S. standoff, or just the beginning of a full-scale maritime crisis that could shake the global energy supply? Because when the world's biggest oil corridor, it crumbles, the entire planet feels the impact.